Gabriel McSharry, nutritionist and medical herbalist. A safe and effective approach to your health condition. Call the clinic on 071 9142 940.
Oh, fluoride areas. What's all about, Gabriel?
Good morning, Johnny. I guess it's the level of fluoride being added to the waters in them areas. So where water fluoridation takes place, some countries, some areas add different amounts than others. And I guess they're just the compared. And it was done by Harvard University researchers. It was done recently, published this July. And it's just another study in quite a long list of studies now that have come out about water fluoridation in the last 10-15 years that really questions whether, if you look at it at a risk-benefit analysis, whether it's worth fluoridating water, or is the risk much higher than any benefit that one can get from it.
Okay, well, in layman's terms, I suppose a question to ask would be, why do they put fluoride in the water in the first instance?
In the first instance, it was put in there to prevent dental caries. So it was, this is a long time ago, but it was perceived that if they added the fluoride to the water, we know that if you add fluoride topically to the teeth, it can strengthen the dentin in the teeth or the enamel, and therefore reduce levels of dental caries. But at the time it was postulated or hypothesized that if you added it to the drinking water and people ingested it, that it would possibly do the same. And it looks now, though, that they were wrong. This is a long time ago, just maybe in the 60s or earlier in the 50s. And definitely topically from toothpaste and maybe some topical agents used in the dentist, it has shown in trials to be beneficial. But it looks now that reviewing the research that we really get no protection from ingesting it. Ingesting it in the body as opposed to applying it topically.
But is it doing any harm?
Well, yes, in my opinion, it does. And it's based on really looking at all the research, and I've read a couple of books about it. And, it's one of these things that's hard to prove cause and effect because it doesn't happen straight away or acutely. So you don't drink a glass of the water and all of a sudden you have your fracture bone the next day or whatever. It tends to be long-term and accumulative. And the recent research just published by Harvard University looked at a number of different studies. They looked at 27 different published studies, peer-reviewed, randomized controlled trials over the last 22 years. And they really looked at the fluoride-brain connection, and they concluded that the results supported the possibility of adverse effects of fluoride exposure on children's neurodevelopment. So that they feel it could lower IQ in populations in the children that have fluoridated water. Now, if you look at the bigger picture, and just add this to all the other research, I think quite the majority of the EU used to fluoridate their water. Now 97% of the EU have taken it out.
Okay.
So Ireland is one of three left. I think we're the only one that does it on a national basis, the fluoridate the water. Now the reasons all the rest of them took it out, and all the major players, Germany and France and so on, was the reasons they cited when they did fluoridate and then they took it out was for health reasons, for legal reasons, and for environmental reasons. They took the decision to take it out of the water. So I think it's time that Ireland takes it out of the water as a natural or as a national protocol. Because as the more research comes out, it compares fluoridated areas to non-fluoridated areas. So if you compared Ireland, say, to France, that we have around the same amount of dental caries.
And you know something, if fluoride is only, we'll say, there to protect your teeth and enhance your teeth and so on, I mean, aren't you getting it anyways when you get your toothpaste and when you wash your teeth daily?
That's a good point. And before before toothpaste was available widely on the market, that's when they started to fluoridate. And definitely when toothpaste came available on the markets, it would have helped. I feel, but adding it to water is antiquated now. It's as I say, the vast majority of European countries have taken it out. And I really don't know why Ireland still do it as a national protocol, to be honest. Especially when there is research to suggest that now it lowers the IQ of children, and also there's scientific research to suggest that it increases rates of hip fractures. Again, Ireland has probably some of the highest amount of hip fracture rates in the world, and it increases rates of thyroid disorders. Back in the day, it could have been a good idea, but now with all the emerging evidence, and when you look at it again, I think, my own personal opinion is it's time that we take it out of the water.
Who is it? The government and Enda Kenny and the government? Gabriel, would it be these people that we've got to lobby? If we want this removed from our water here.
Yeah, sure. I guess it's the Department of the Environment. I know that John Gormley was a great opponent of water fluoridation prior to getting into government, in the last government, and he did say in an email to me that he was, when he was Minister for the Environment, that he would look towards taking it out, but never did. And so I don't know. It's definitely the decision comes from government. I think the Ministry of Environment, it's them who should be lobbied. They have been lobbied over the years. It's not like no one's come to this conclusion. I mean, they have been lobbied. I mean, they've removed it from the water in Northern Ireland now some time ago, a few years ago. And that was due to lobbying, I think, from the local government. So from the councils and the councillors, I think they just said, you know what, it's time to stop. And they brought it to the national executive or whatever.
Okay, we're drinking water. There's fluoride in the water. I take it, are we just talking about tap water? Or please don't tell me that the bottled water that we buy, there's fluoride in that as well.
No, I think the bottled water is generally, well, it depends, but it's generally spring water or whatever. It's not fluoridated. It's the tap water. So if you're on the mains, the municipal main system, that's the one that there's fluoride added. So tap water, I guess, yeah.
And then what about when one is having a shower and a bath? I mean, obviously you're using water with fluoride in it as well.
Same, and there is, I guess you're also exposed to fluoride via osmosis in the shower, and maybe you're inhaling a bit. I'm not too sure. I think that was more so seen with chloride, but yeah, it's in fluoride's in the water you shower with, that you use in the taps in your kitchen, in the drinking water, in agricultural water. So our animals are also getting it. Anything that's connected to the mains, unless you're on a group scheme which drills a well, or you have a well in your house yourself.
Okay, I'm just reading your article, and you stated this already. Most of the countries in the EU do not fluoridate the public water supply, and in some of them, the practice was struck down by the courts. But yet, we're still doing it after all these years in Ireland. And I think myself, I suppose I'm not meant to give my own opinion here on the radio station, but I for one would like to be lobbying to have fluoridation removed from water. And I'm sure you'd agree with that, Sir Gabriel.
I definitely would, and it's solely on health grounds for me. That's where my opinion's based. But there's other grounds as well. Environmental, what's it like for the environment to be pumping all this fluoride into it, and also the cost. How much does it cost to add the water to add the fluoride to the water? But in general, if 90% of all the EU countries used to fluoridate and now don't, citing health reasons, citing legal reasons. Legal reasons being, I think, Germany and Luxembourg took it out because it's officially it's medicating the population. So you're medicating a population, and ethically, on a European, due to European law, I think it's wrong in that. Who's to say that the dose I need is the same that the dose you need, Johnny? Is the same dose we need to put in a new infant's formula bottle? Who sets that dose? Who's to say we need the same dose?
That's true. A very good point there, Gabriel. Because I mean, if the fluoride in the tap water, we make coffee, we make tea. We're in other people's houses and we're in restaurants having tea, and we don't know how much fluoride we're putting into our system daily. You've
no idea of the dose. Some people may drink more water, consume more water than others, and therefore they're on a higher dose. Who sets the dose? And what is the safe dose? So you now have parts of America which were fluoridated have come out to say not to make your baby infant formula from fluoridated water. So I think it's a start of an admission that, well, hang on here, but this is ridiculous. Let's just call a spade here. That at the time it was possibly a good idea or a good hypothesis for dental health, but now let's look unbiasedly at the research, and 97% of Europe couldn't be wrong. Are we an EU nation now or not? And why is our counterparts taking it out because of health reasons, legal reasons and environmental reasons?
Well, I'm sure there are people that will come on this radio station or indeed any radio station and say why we do need fluoride in the water. But you know something, maybe not for this programme, for other programmes here at the station, it would make a good radio debate as to why we should remove fluoride from our water. And as you said there, if 97% of other EU countries have removed it, God, they know what they're talking about, and we should be doing likewise.
I completely agree.
Okay, just one other thing before you go, and I don't know if you want to talk about this, but it's just yesterday morning, I was listening to Radio 1 on the way into work, RT Radio 1, and the IMB came out with a report about echinacea, was it?
Echinacea.
Echinacea, sorry, yeah.
So I only found out yesterday as well in the news release, and I was quite shocked to hear it. As a medical herbalist, I prescribe echinacea to children, and excuse me. And if there was any data there to suggest that it's possibly dangerous, then I'd like to know about it, and I'd like to see the data. But from what I gather between the press release yesterday and just looking into it yesterday and a bit this morning, is that their decision wasn't based on new published data that there's possible dangers. It's just based on case reports of allergic reaction in a number of children.
Under 12?
Under 12 in the last 5 years, maybe that there was 2. Now, I've asked the IMB for the case reports, and they can't give it to me because it's confidential. I have to get it from the World Health Organization, so I've asked them, and I'm still awaiting a response from them. But with regards to published scientific data, it's echinacea is a very, very safe herbal medicine, and they used the scientific data as well to make the decision, the IMB, but they used data that was published back in 2008. My point is that the press release was kind of, like the way it came out yesterday, as if there was this kind of scaremongering, oh my God, echinacea is dangerous. Now, for your listeners who've never heard of echinacea, it's probably the most popular, most used herbal medicine in the Western world today. It's an immune stimulant, so you take it for cold and flus. It's antiviral. It'll have a blood cleansing effect, but mainly it enhances immune function. with all herbal medicines, as a practitioner, we'd always, there's always throughout history hypersensitivity responses to anything, to foods, to medicines, and so on. In certain susceptible individuals with chronic illness, and who are very weak, they may react adversely to a herbal medicine, and we'd always screen for that. So, I mean, in the last 30 years, there might be maybe under a dozen hypersensitivity allergic reactions to echinacea, from my reading of the scientific data. It's a very, very safe herbal medicine. But for this, the reason that there has been incidents of allergic response, and possibly based on 2 new cases over the last 5 years, they've decided to ban it from over-the-counter sale to under 12s, or for use in under 12s. Now, I, as a medical herbalist, a practitioner, am unaffected, and I'll keep prescribing it prudently, but it was just the way it kind of came out yesterday. I got a couple of calls to the clinic, oh my God, is it dangerous, or what I've been taking for the last while, or what I've been giving the kids, and so on. And it really isn't warranted right now for what we know in the scientific data, that it's not a dangerous herb. It's very, very safe and very, very effective, and has lots and lots of scientific research done on adults, and has some on kids, but not many, and therefore that's the reason they use to. Now, my problem, I'm totally for safety in anything that's available over the counter, and I think it's great that there is agencies that watchdog this, and if there is any product available to the public that's possibly dangerous, then it should be flagged. But my problem is currently, anyway, until I get these reports from the World Health Organization, is that the same standards aren't being applied to pharmaceutical drugs. It just seems to be that herbal medicine is singled out here.
Okay.
And if the same standard was applied to all currently over-the-counter pharmaceutical medications to children, like children's Nurofen or ibuprofen or some of the cough bottles, then in one swoop, all of these would probably leave the shelves as well. Okay. So I feel it was singled out there. But
we're going to hear more about this, aren't we?
I'd say so. I'd say so, because it just, again, like, it wasn't something that was looming in the research. I was caught unawares yesterday as well. I was a bit shocked to hear about it on the news, in a news release, and to get loads of people ringing the clinic asking me, is it safe, what they're giving to their children, and so on. But that's the basis of it, is that it's very, very safe. It is safer than eating peanuts. I mean, when you want to weigh, if you want to weigh it up here, it's so rare to get a severe allergic reaction to echinacea. It's more rare than peanuts, than probably sunflower oil or sunflower seed, and so on. And maybe if there was 2 incidents in the last 5 years that are reported, again, I have to wait on these reports. I'd say probably for pharmaceuticals, there's probably 1 a week.
That's
where a child would have an allergic reaction to an over-the-counter medication. So, we should hear more about it. Hopefully we will. And as I gather information on the most recent...
You'll share it with us.
Yeah, sure. Happy to do so.
And you know something? I think you got the ball rolling again when it comes to the fluoride in the water. I think this story is going to grow wings.
Yeah, well, again, if you look at it, there's research emerging all the time. This just came out in July, so this summer a new one strongly suggests that adding fluoride to water is going to lower the IQ of the nation. Do Ireland really want to ignore this, and or do we follow our European counterparts, 97% of them, and let's just stop it?
Okay. All right, Gabriel, as always, thank you so much indeed. Gabriel's website is 3 W's in the dot, westernherbalmedicine.com. We are speaking with Mr. Gabriel McSharry, a nutritionist and medical herbalist professional living in Calgary in County Sligo. Gabriel, as always, thank you for your input on the programme.
Thank you very much, Johnny.
You're very welcome. And that is an interesting one there, and fair play. He has, Gabriel has that article in the Western People on the Community Life section, like he does have a different article each week. It's interesting, and you know something, it's got me thinking now, if 97% of all the other EU countries have removed fluoride from the water, I mean, we're getting the toothpaste anyways, and it's to benefit your teeth. I mean, why aren't we doing something about it here in Ireland now? I did see a lot of posts some months back, but it's gone quiet again. I'm sure this will start going again now on the Facebook about the reasons why we should remove fluoride from our drinking water, because like Gabriel said there, we don't know how much fluoride we're putting into our system. How many glasses of water, we're talking about not bottled water now, we're talking about tap water here. How many glasses of water from the tap would you have a day? How many cups of tea, cup of coffee that you have from boiling the water from that tap? Does fluoride, when you boil the water, does it remove the fluoride from the water? I don't think so. I stand to be corrected. How much fluoride are we intaking? Is it causing things that we don't realise that it's causing inside? And maybe it could be the causes of other things, and it all could come out in the washing. So, if the other countries are managing okay, 97% of them, without the fluoride in the water, what's the story here in Ireland? So we'll have to get on to India and see what's the story. What's the story?
Gabriel McSharry, nutritionist and medical herbalist. A safe and effective approach to your health condition. Call the clinic on 071 9142 940.